The following is presented by the Cheeky Basterds.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Yippee Ki-Yay, motherfuckers, and welcome to the 17th edition of Dropping a Bruce, the monthly podcast where we watch every single one of Bruce Willis's 40 direct-to-video releases from his acting career to see if he took the role for a paycheck and dropped a deuce, or if in fact he took the role and gave it his all and dropped a Bruce. I am the Notorious Scott K.
And my name is Mr. Smith.
And together we will be your hapless jackass stewards on this 40-month journey through the lesser-known movies of Mr. Bruce Willis's filmography. This month's stop finds us trapped in a dumpster fire of our own making as we review 2020's action crime thriller, Survive the Night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the Summer of Escondry. So we have now hit the middle of the summer trilogy where Steve and I will find out if, in fact, next month, this is the bullet in the leg trilogy. We will find out because we feel at least you get a sequel. But this is going to be one of those moments where we find out if we are going to continue to use people being shot in the leg as the main through part of the plot of these fucking movies. Mr. Smith, as we are doing a double shift, if you listened to our episode last month, you'll know this is a very long way to go around a joke. However, we are doing this in succession. So while you're listening to this months separated, we are doing this moments separated as we now pull a double shift like most of the people working in San Juan, Puerto Rico do from last month's film, Trauma Center. How have you been coping? Has the trauma subsided a bit, or did trying to survive the night only add to the trauma?
Well, having had a therapy session with you moments ago where we tried to make peace with things and, overcome our trauma. Survive the night. Well, survive the morning, because I watched it. I watched it this morning.
And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek because this doesn't take place all at night. Oh, spoiler alert,
True.
Spars.
But I found this a more palatable movie, but we'll
Yes.
get to that.
All right.
Yeah, we're talking surviving the night.
Surviving the night and possibly the morning afterwards. This is a two-parter. Well, I guess the only thing we can do, like we always have to do, we just got to take off our clothes and jump into this cold bath of stupidity and get it over with. So before we get our brother shot in the leg for no other reason than the plot of this film depends on it to set things in motion, it's time for our...
What you talking about, Willis?
Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
This film was released in 2020, written by Doug Wolf and directed by Matt Escondry, starring Chad Michael Murray, Bruce Willis, Shea Buckner, Tyler James Olsen, Lydia Hall, Jessica Abrams, Sarah Lynn Holbrook, and Jeff Holbrook, with a running time of 87 minutes, made on a budget of $3.5 million and grossing $220,000 at the box office. It holds a 4 rating on IMDb, with a 13 critics and 53 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. A disgraced doctor and his family are held hostage at their home by criminals on the run when a robbery gone awry requires them to seek immediate medical attention. Lionsgate Film and Grindstone Entertainment Group presents Survive the Night.
I never expected to be sued as a doctor. I'm thinking of settling. What am I supposed to do?
What do you want me to say, Rich? Suppose I was one of your patients. What do you tell me?
I tell you to fight.
Yeah.
They find that body in the morning, they're gonna come looking for us.
On the search for 2 fugitives suspected of armed robbery earlier this evening.
I need a doctor. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
This is perfect. Isolated, remote. My brother already has your wife and kid.
You're operating, Doc.
My brother dies, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your daughter, I'm gonna kill your wife, and I'm gonna kill your dad.
Are we gonna be okay?
Used to be the big dog in town. Don't try anything.
When I start cutting, bite on this.
We have to take control.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna come for you. I promise. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna fight him. Tough son of a bitch, huh?
Mr. Willis plays Frank Clark, a retired sheriff whose son and family come to stay with him after his son proves to be a fuck-up of a doctor and then gets a job with his sister at a clinic for some, I don't know. Listen, don't think too hard into it. Mr. Willis wasn't either, all right? Once again, this is our third of 26 straight-to-video releases that we will do over the next 5 years, that Mr. Willis will do over the next 5 years of his career. This is also the first straight-to-video release of 2020 for Mr. Willis, and second of 4 films directed by, I don't want to say Scorsese-esque director Maniscalco, but look it, he might be there. This might be his taxi driver. I don't know. Find out. Now, the plot of this gem is that 2 brothers invade the home of an ex-sheriff after one gets shot in the leg because the other's a fuck-up, and they force the sheriff's disgraced son to help save his life. Then the majority of this film is a low-stakes game of grab ass, where last month's was the game of hide and seek. This turns into a game of grab ass for the majority of the evening into the morning. So we'll get into it. Now, this was filmed in 10 days in Columbus, Georgia. Now, I spent 5 years in Columbus, Georgia, as that is where Fort Benning, the home of the infantry training program, is. However, when I was watching, it's like, oh, it's in Columbus, Georgia. They had 2 scenes of like the town, and I couldn't tell you where the hell those were. So they could have been in any. They could have said Columbus, Ohio at this point. There was nothing that makes you think that it's in where they say it is, because basically we spend most of the time on a farm. So they did the right thing, though. There's not a lot to look at in Columbus, Georgia. I'm not trying to be mean to the folks there, but if you live in Columbus, Georgia, it's a military town, and you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, like you said, this is filmed in 10 days. Now, this movie had 18 producers. Film made 220 grand. So to step up.
So clearly we cut out 8 people, we get more money.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's where I was headed. So yeah, made 220 grand, 18 producers, which is a step up from last month's 26 producers making 93 grand. So do the math.
And as I said, the Halfwit brothers, these characters of Jamie and Matthias are partially inspired by Lenny and George of Mice and Men.
Yes, very well put.
The only part that they're inspired is that they're dumbasses. Other than that, they really don't hold much of the same. Now, Nick Allen of RogerEbert.com wrote, watching Willis in Survive the Night, you'd think he was already dead.
Not true.
Josh Bell of Crooked Marquee wrote, there's virtually no suspense in this rote hostage drama, which, contrary to the title, takes place overnight and much of the following morning. Ben, so I'm going to probably butcher this last name, but Ben Kenningsberg of the New York Times wrote, a flabby hunk of meat that the director Matt Escondri hasn't bothered to season. Then we've got some letterbox ones. Forget surviving the night. If you can survive this 90-minute film runtime without wanting to track down those responsible for making it and shooting them in the dick, 1 star. Chad Michael Murray could not save this movie, and he did not try to, 1 star. I can't believe they dragged Bruce Willis out of bed for this, 1 star. And my favorite, the script is full of more holes than a machine gun shooting at an orgy, 1 star.
That's a good one.
That's a real good one. That's a really good one. So this film, the second of our leg wound trilogy, once again, much like the first of the Escondri summer, everything is just plot point and happenstance. There, as Mr. Smith said, I do feel this was a little bit more palpable, but it does have its glaring issues. We open the movie with these 2 guys, the brothers, and they've just collected 20 grand in money, which does, like, sometimes I feel like these writers don't give them enough money. Like,
that's 20 not much money.
No, it's not.
Stakes is low.
And they've collected it from someone else. So that feels like they've killed some other guy who... Now, I can appreciate the vagueness of us falling into this film behind, right? Like, so we are in the dark and the actors or the characters are ahead of us in the story. We don't know what's going on, which is fine. I don't mind that. I like that in a lot of films. So you feel like, all right, right off the bat, like, okay, this is a little bit better than some bunch of white people living in San Juan, Puerto Rico, working double shifts and people getting asthma attacks out the blue. So you can appreciate that factor. But you feel like this is going to be more important. For some reason, they have to get to the border. It's very vague as to why they need to run to the border, why they took the money from this guy. Did they really kill him? Are they on the run? Like, it's really just kind of like, it feels like they just wrote this script just to have these like kind of cliche things that guys would say, we got to make it to, like, I'll tell you right now, you're not making it to the border of Mexico from Columbus, Georgia that night. It's not happening. It's a long way to Texas from Columbus, Georgia. It is on the very west coast of Georgia. It's basically on the state line between that and Alabama, but you still got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Sorry. Watch old bandit run.
As you've sort of alluded to already, because of the 20 grand, it's all just so implausible.
Yeah.
So when they stop off at some convenience store and the psycho brother, Lenny, I guess, Lenny?
His name is Jamie. Yeah, Lenny, but Jamie in the movie.
The Lenny of the Mice and Men. I don't know. I don't read books.
Played pretty impressively by Shea Buckner. I kind of really enjoyed his performance in this. I really did enjoy
He's an
Shea
Olympic
Buckner.
Olympic polo champion or something.
He's been in other movies we've had, and he's always been like a background person, because I looked him up again to see if maybe there's other movies with him in it, and he's been in a few of them, and they're all like these little bit roles for him.
Yeah, no, he's decent. He's quite a threat imposing.
Yes, I agree.
Character. But when I say implausible, when he starts killing people in this convenience store.
It made no sense for him to have to go rob this convenience store of what, $78.22? Like, in honesty?
One of the things that got me is, he has this sort of exchange with the guy behind the counter, and he sort of looks up at the ceiling and sees there's a camera, and then he decides to kill people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd assume, there's cameras, I've got no reason to do any of what I'm now doing, so I won't kill people. Instead, he looks up at the there's a camera. I think that's a good idea.
Well, he tells his brother when he comes in, which we get Tyler J. Olsen in he's just in our movies briefly. He's in this whole fucking movie for the most part.
Yeah,
Good for him though. He finally gets a fucking role, because he was killed quickly in the last one.
Well, then the last one has a blink and you miss it role in the last one.
Like you're saying, he goes in, sees this thing, decides to get a wild head up his ass. But even that doesn't make sense, because if he's going to rob the guy, you think there's going to be a gun pointed at the guy's face and then but then it's like a sudden shooting. And I mentioned, like, this guy's got an 1800s Western fucking cock every time you shoot fucking rifle, like he's in fucking Unforgiven, behind the counter. And he's shooting at them. Like, why this turns into almost a Mexican standoff-ish or a shootout in this convenience store makes no sense, because you expect, if you're going to hold the guy up, you put the gun to his face, he doesn't have a chance to get to the...
Well, no, all I could think was, because they're like these notorious brothers, and and the guy works in the convenience store, recognizes them perhaps.
Yeah.
That's why he's like, we need to wipe this guy out. So there's not really though. That's I'm just being generous. I mean, one thing, not to get too far ahead of myself on this, but at least this movie's pretty brutal.
At points. Yes, at points for sure.
It's a little bit more gnarly, this one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because like I say, so they kill everyone in the convenience store, in the crossfire, the other brother gets...
Which, by magic bullet, I put, because he wasn't, like, where TJO is and where the guy's shooting...
Yeah,
like,
this is some JFK type magic bullet theory, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, again, folks, in case you were being hung on by suspense, he gets shot in the leg. Don't worry, folks. In the fucking leg.
Spoiler alert.
A boom. This one's not an inch deep, though, folks. Not like the Goot says. This one is going to require a little bit more. We don't got time for these Puerto Rican doctors to be hanging out extra time.
No.
We don't have 3 days. We got to get this out now. But yeah, so he gets hit in this magic bullet leg thing. But one of my favorite moments in the film. And like you said, I started to feel like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to take a bit of a darker turn the entire film, because normally we get in the films, I'm going to count to 5. I'm going to shoot this bitch in the head. And when he gets to 1, someone always goes, okay, well, do it. And they drop the gun, nothing happens. Well, it kind of happens that way. And almost. He hits 1 and nothing happens. And then the guy says something behind the counter, I forget what. But then Jamie says, you know what? He remembers. He goes, wait a minute, I said 1, didn't I? Bang. Shoots the girl in the back of the head. Now, we don't get what Steve and I would have liked, which is like the brains coming out the front, something gruesome. But it's okay. But I was happy that he did shoot her in the back of the head.
It's a pretty
then we take
shocking.
him out. Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, here we go. We got this. We're on the run. We're doing this.
For a pack of juicy fruit and $20, though.
Yeah. But before they rob this convenience store, we meet Chad Michael down on his luck, Murray. CMM. And look he's no what's-his-face, Paul Gasser, all right? He's not him. He's not PMG, all right? So he lives on his dad's farm, or he's moved in with his dad's farm because for some reason he's a disgraced doctor who who lost in court, like killed somebody on an operation, or someone died from an operation, and he must not have had malpractice suit insurance or something. Like, I don't know. It's very vague. Basically, it's just, again, plot service. We have to have him there, so he's with Dad, and we have to have more people so we can, play grab ass all night long. And he's got a daughter. We don't need, like, every film has got some extra child thrown in, so there's some kind of stakes involved, and yet we never have any connection to these children. We don't give a shit about these children. We actually are hoping that they would die because they're just pointless. And then his wife, played by Lydia Hall, Steve's ex, for those of you who don't remember, from last month, he dumped her. He's had enough of her shit. And apparently, she did look a little different there, Steve. You're assuming she had a little bit of...
Botox City.
A little Botox City, yeah. She's his wife, and I don't mean this mean to Lydia Hall. She looks a little bit older than Chad Michael Murray. Not saying they couldn't be married, but I didn't buy that she was his wife. That's all I'm saying. Bruce makes an appearance, and man, hats off to how's appearance. Now, once again, we hired the guy who played Bruce from behind in the movie Reprisal, who was doing the pull-ups, because there's a moment in the beginning of the film where we are learning that Chad Michael Murray is living somewhere. He's got to fill out this paperwork for some bullshit, who knows what. And then his sister's there, and she's going to have him work at this clinic or whatever and kind of help him get back on his feet. And Dad, lo and behold, is out in the garage tuning up his beautiful fucking Dodge Charger. He's souping it up. But the guy from behind is definitely not Bruce Willis. Looks younger even by the head. And then it's there for 2 seconds so that we can later remember it for no reason. And then when Chad Michael Murray finally comes back to the front room, this brief moment that we saw of Bruce apparently tuning up his vehicle, he's now sitting in a rocking chair. And instantly, though, my first note was Bruce is starting off strong. I felt like, oh, okay. Bruce has whatever has happened. He's there for longer than 2 days because he's in this film quite a bit. So he's actually a full-on guest star in this film. Would you say that's a correct assumption, Mr. Smith? He's a full-on guest star in this film. He's actually in it a lot.
Yeah. This film, tell you what this film reminded me of a little bit. I thought we were in the same was it First Kill?
First Kill, yep.
That same sort of look to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we were going to be in like a bit of a Desperate Hours vibe.
Yes. You and I covered that. Yes. Whoa.
Yeah.
Good callback to the Church of Tarantino episodes. Nice job.
There you go. Without going too far, I think Bruce Willis is pretty good in this.
Yes, agreed.
Who's this guy, the doctor guy? What's his actor's name again?
Chad Michael Murray.
Are you familiar with it? I'm not.
I think he's on a TV show here in America called One Tree Hill. I think that's where he got his famous from this show, One Tree Hill. But again, I don't think
it even looks like Hayden Christensen.
It doesn't he didn't cross over into films, obviously, because that's why he's in this.
Yes.
Acting-wise, everyone in this film, I think, is except for the daughter, who doesn't say much or anything and is just as useless as the girl in Reprisal, who apparently has asthma as well. I don't forget. She had type 2 diabetes. I forgot. But diabetes. At least in this film, we didn't have some kid with some disease that we had to fucking worry about.
She was just a plank of wood. She was a bit of a plank. Well, actually,
listen,
to be
let's
fair,
be honest.
she's not
if
really
she had gotten shot in this film, you wouldn't have cared.
She's not given anything to do, though, to be fair.
At one point, I thought she was some neighbor's kid who just wandered their yard. Like, I never once felt like she was a part of their family at all. Like, I was like, oh, hey, it's the grandkids, the child. There was like, hey, some neighborhood kid who doesn't get fucking fed by their parents, have to stop by for dinner. Like, she was useless. So there's no stakes. Like, we're not worried about her. Like, honestly, I don't mean this meanly. If she'd been shot in the film, you'd have been like, all right, cool. Just as much as we didn't really care that the girl was shot in the, we had no emotional attachment to her.
No.
We were kind of like, ooh, wow, okay, we're going to take some chances with shooting a girl in the back of the head in a convenience store in a B movie. Hey, finally.
But in an act of a massive coincidence in this movie, they take this family hostage and he's a doctor.
Yep.
And the dad's an ex-sheriff.
Yeah.
So it's like...
But of course he's an ex-sheriff.
Of course.
I mean, Bruce Willis only plays like five types. He's either criminal, he's law enforcement, and every now and again he's military. Like, it's really, once in a while he's the principal and he's excellent. But, mostly they're like, hey, what can you play? Cop, bad guy. But I do say that him being the sheriff didn't actually add, like, when you hear these ex-sheriff, instantly you start going, oh, when I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go. It's going to be John McClane retired. You know what I mean? Like, retired John McClane. But we didn't lean into that. We allowed him to be older and not be as badass or could take on these guys. And I like that.
But I think a lot of that would be, just in my mind, Bruce Willis's character is an ex-sheriff and his son is a disgraced doctor. And I think that's kind of like, the dad's a sort of alpha male, tough guy, and the son's a failure. So you've got that, they're sort of at loggerheads with each other.
Like, son's got to earn the respect of dad.
Yeah, because obviously if the dad would have been a doctor too, say.
Well, the daughter was. Maybe the dad's a loser. He's the fucking sheriff. He's got two kids who are doctors.
Funnily enough, he does say, I hope you bring your daughter up better than I brought you up. And I thought, that's kind of makes you look like an asshole. But anyway, and the son, when he says it, I'm like, you're kind of dissing both of you.
But at the same time, the daughter's so useless. We were like, is anyone bringing her up? Is anyone care?
She's not even in the movie. Fuck that bitch. But yeah, so I think the whole dad being a kind of gruff ex-sheriff, and he can't. That's just a dynamic thing with the son, where he looks down on his son as being like it's a noble profession, obviously, but he's fucked that up too. So I think the idea is that, well, Bruce Willis is clearly the one who's going to save the day because he's the ex-sheriff. So it's kind of like it's leading you in certain directions. So at least there's an element of surprise or two later on in the movie, maybe. Like I may be giving the film too much.
The film has real potential, especially in the beginning. Like, it really sets up some good things. TJO and our boy Shay Buckner there, they're really good as the brothers. I really enjoyed them.
Agreed, yeah.
No offense to Lydia Hall or the other girl, but like you said, they're just there to be the people of the family that we're supposed to be concerned for. They're given nothing to do. Outside of Lydia Hall seeming to be disappointed in her husband.
Just underwritten.
It's very tropey, yes.
Yeah, just underwritten.
We get another surprising scene. So when they actually break in, obviously he gets shot in the leg and he feels like he's been shot in the spot that's going to cause him to die. Now, when we eventually find out where he's been shot, he would have bled out. So it's fine. We look, in these movies,
makes sense.
Physics and ailments don't actually work out, right? Like, when you get asthma, you don't spend 3 nights in the hospital. When you get shot in the femoral artery, you bleed out over before you get to the morning. Anywho, don't worry about it, all right? It's a movie. Everyone have some popcorn. Hey, look, Bruce Willis is in it. But we get to see the break in, and it's really well done. And there's a moment where the grandma has to take a shit in the middle of the night. So, fucking her Ovaltine kicks in, and she's got to go take a shit. So she's going back upstairs, and she surprises Shay as he's kind of breaking into the room, and he shoots her and kills her. So I was like, all I know is, right now, after 2 movies, not only are we worried about legs, but I'm thinking Mr. Escandri here enjoys either hurting or killing women, because he gets them beat up in the one movie, and he's killing the broads in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of women getting knocked about.
A lot of women, yeah.
Yeah, I thought there's some like misogyny going on here.
Just saying, Escandri may or may not like women, but they may not like him.
Yeah, well, we know why they don't like him.
Yeah, he's getting his cathartic response. Yeah, beats you up, maybe shoots him. We may want to look into what, if he's got a special island that he hides.
If only they behaved themselves.
Yes, if only they did what I said when they said action. The next fucking Scorsese, you dumb bitches. Do what I say.
Yeah, so yeah, I did think he had problems, that guy, yeah. So yeah, they kill the grandma, which is like harsh as fuck.
Which was really good though. Like, you're kind of like, I was in it. Like, at that point, I was like, because Trauma Center, as I said, I watched them as a double shift, like we talked about, a little joke. I watched them back to back. Trauma Center, again, as we talked about last month, was, there was some eye candy and a really good acting job by Miss Whalen, and that helped at least get you over the finish line, right? Like, you were able to, all right, she at least every time, and she was on the screen the majority of the time, so at least we were able to keep moving forward, even if it was ridiculous stuff.
Agreed.
In this film, it starts off with a lot darker tone, and more the kind of movie that you and I enjoy.
Yes.
Not that we just like dark stuff, but I like stakes. I don't like romantic comedies because they're fucking predictable. I like my movies not to know what I'm going to get into. I want to be told a story. I want to be taken on a ride. I want to not know what's coming around the bend. I want to be surprised. I want oh shit, bring out the Gimp moment. And, I want these kind of things where all of a sudden someone dies, you don't see it coming. And I did not see them in this film shooting the woman, and I didn't see them killing the grandma. I was like, fuck yeah, we got a good start to this film. And now we're going to add the stakes of like, you got to save my brother now. So what the director and the filmmakers have done at this moment is everybody should be worried about what fucking Jamie's going to do, because he's already shown a proclivity of killing, especially the women folk. Right? So when he says, look, if you don't fucking save my brother, I'm fucking killing all your family. At that moment, we as the audience go, he's going to fucking do it. And there's a part of me going, as you know, movies, Then they're gonna try to fuck around with him and see if he's real, and he's gonna kill one of these other motherfuckers. And that's then where the movie starts to lose where it wanted to go. It decided to no longer follow in what it had already given us as an audience, and started to go to the old, well, good guys have always got to win. All right, we could get rid of the grandma just so we feel like there's some stakes, but no. If we're honest, no one seemed too upset that grandma was gone.
You're not wrong.
They forgot
You're
to tell the
not
cast,
wrong.
hey, grandma just got fucking shot in the chest. She is dead. For some reason, they put her in the bed upstairs. That made no sense. Whatever. She's tucked in upstairs on a permanent sleep. All right? She is gone.
Well, you're kind of right, but we'll get to that later.
We have a moment
I know
where
what
there's
you're
a
saying.
line
No,
down,
you're right.
but for the
You are
majority of the
right,
time,
but
no one's crying. Like even Bruce isn't all that upset.
at that point, you're absolutely right.
So then we get the tense moment of like, we got to stop this thing. You know, obviously we find out the guy can't. He's a shitty fucking doctor or whatever. As he says, maybe I should have cut when I stitch or stitch when I cut. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? You're a doctor. If you don't know when you're supposed to cut and when you're supposed to stitch up, how did you pass the fucking test to ever get out of med school?
Overworked, man. Double shifts. He
Double
fucked up.
shifts. You know what? He was a doctor in fucking Puerto Rico.
He's the doctor who should have been operating on that
Should have
fucking
been
leg.
there, but he was gone. He
See,
left.
way
Oh
ahead, you're
my
not following
God.
things, man. You're not thinking
Mr.
straight.
Scandra, I apologize. I did not realize you were Coppola. I'm sorry, sir. You know what? You're Kubrick, because this is Kubrickian right here. Like, we are not following along your plan. I apologize, sir. The patterns of the carpet are important. I should have been paying attention. Oh, fucking guy. But yeah, anyway, so he left Puerto Rico, leaving Steve Gutenberg out. But where would he go? I don't know. It's going to be 2 to 3 days before we get someone else in here. So meanwhile, some poor girl is almost dying from a leg shot wound down there. He comes up here. He thinks he gets away from that shit. Sure enough, leg wound. He's like,
There you
God
go.
damn it. Just when I think I'm out, they
The
pull
whole
me
narrative
back
structure, you're missing out.
in. Told you it's a trilogy. The leg wound trilogy. It's going to circle. It's going to follow everybody.
I think this is all going to link up in
It's
some
all
like
going to link.
Pulp Fiction-esque
It is.
vibe.
It's a Tarantino-esque universe where all the characters cross. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah. We need the final film will be the piece to the puzzle that all
Yes,
brings
the
it all
fourth
together.
one. It took him 2 more years to do it. He's like, I'll do these 3 in a row. Got this pretty good, but I'm going to take an extra 2 years to get that 4th one out, and we're
There you
going to
go.
boom. The box set Arrow's coming out soon. We'll be on it doing some special commentary.
We'll do audio commentaries. Oh man. But yeah, I think like again with this one, you know, stakes are high. You know, the family are all tied up. The disgraced doctor has got to like operate.
Yeah, the guy who doesn't know when to cut and stitch is going to perform the surgery, and if he doesn't, they're all going to die. And again, we're all there. We're like, yeah, they put him on the table. We know. Look, after a while, you watch enough movies, and this is how you decipher the masterpieces from good and just your run-of-the-mill movies, right? When you watch enough movies, you have a good idea of how certain things are going to start to turn out. You know he's going to start to operate, and one of them, because it's going to be Bruce, someone's going to try to do something stupid, which no real human being would do, right? Like, we would try to not get ourselves killed, even if you're an ex-sheriff. Like, you're not willing to sometimes put people at risk. But again, it's a movie, so it's okay. So we know either Chad or Bruce, as the surgery is going on, is going to pull some shit. We know this. And they pull some shit where like they are able to clamp again, listen, also know in B movies, medical procedures don't matter. Doesn't matter how it really works in the real world. It's written in the script. We're going to do what it says in the script.
It's a movie, man.
Yeah,
It's a movie, okay?
I know.
Remember
But
that.
I know.
It's not
But
real
sometimes
life.
you're
None
like,
of this would happen.
No.
None of this would have happened if this was real life. Come on.
Yes, it would have. Mr. Scandri is a master craftsman, so don't you dare. How are you going to tie in the fact that this is the doctor who left Puerto Rico? This is a throughput, and you're not going to have faith in this. Damn it!
We're not meant to know that at this point. We've jumped ahead.
Yeah, he's been shot in the femoral artery. Should have already bled out and died, but we've now got it clamped, and he's laying on the dining room table, basically dying. And so all he has to do, and honestly, these guys have said, if you, and this is where it's really bad writing after this point, if you do this, we are leaving you. We don't want we're not here to hurt you. We don't want to take anything. I just need you to stop this bleeding, help my brother. We want to get the fuck out of here. That's all that should have happened. But no, because Bruce is like, God damn it, you've ruined my table. My son's an idiot. He's going to get himself killed.
But wait a minute.
Yes.
They're not going to just get up and go, are they? They've already killed the fucking grand. You think they'd have just left
Well, the grandma thing
after
is
killing a bunch of
but
people?
the grandma thing is the accident. Like that's the real. So it's awesome that it happened because it's just shows that oh shit. But he honestly didn't want to kill the grandma. Like it was an accident. So then all of a sudden hilarity, stupidity ensues, and we start this grab ass game of someone's trying to kill someone, and Bruce Willis gets fucking cut open. No one sews him up. He should have been dead. But we forget about the knife wound that he just sustained.
He got slashed though. He didn't get gutted, did he? He didn't get gutted though. No, he didn't get gutted though. He just got slashed. That's too many assumptions.
So he gets cut, and you think this is going to lead to something more. Like we're starting to ratchet the stakes up. But then, whether it's the 19 producers, whether it's they have to keep Bruce alive to get the overseas, like this is where then trying to make money on a piece of B-movie film ruins where the movie had real potential to go. So I don't want to put it all on Ascandri. I know he probably was told, nope, these things got to go. This is how this has to go. Because when Bruce runs out and he's getting shot at, we should have had Bruce die out there. Like that would have been, again, who do we think as the audience is the guy going to save everybody because of what we've been told that his profession was, right? So we think Bruce is the fucking guy. And then he goes out and dies. It doesn't happen. And then they start chasing each other around this farm. And there's even a moment where, spoiler, TJO doesn't make it. And he says if he doesn't make it, he's killing somebody. And where we were so quick to shoot the girl in the convenience store, we don't do that anymore because we can't kill any more characters like you were kind of talking about. So it starts to lose the teeth that it early had and made it a disappointment for me. Not that I thought it was a terrible overall movie, but it was just disappointing because there was such potential that they started with, but then did not have, I feel, the balls or gall to take it across the finish line and make this one of those home invasion movies. Because, like, even the, what is it, Funny Games? Is that the name of that movie? Yeah. That doesn't go well at all, right? Like, if you've seen the movie Funny Games, why that's one of the best home invasion movies is because we as the audience think that eventually someone's going to come or they're going to find a way to get away, and that doesn't happen. Everybody is kaputt, as the Germans say. And this movie had that potential and was leading us down that road. And then when it comes time for the stakes to really be turned up, and are we willing to do what we said or kind of showed, we don't have, in my opinion, that follow through to let Bruce Willis's character die and bleed out in the woods, let him shoot somebody who didn't save his brother. You know what I mean? Like he said he was going to. It just kind of got, everyone's running around this fucking farm.
I just think this is more of a Bruce Willis movie than you realize, though.
Oh, no, Bruce Willis is
No.
Really
what I'm saying is he's more of, I think because of how little he's in these other movies, we have that expectation that he's going to die. Whereas it actually turns out he's kind of the co-lead of this movie. Which we're not expecting that because that's not what he's been doing for the last few years.
Especially the movie prior.
Yeah, exactly. So, but obviously, this movie doesn't fully work. But obviously, they can't start killing his wife and kids because but then he won't operate if they do.
No, because he does operate. I'm saying, but once the TJO does eventually die, like eventually, just like they don't finish it.
There's not much of the film left after that.
True, but didn't you feel like also they were setting up for like this supposed to be Chad Michael Murray's redemption? Like he is a surgeon, he can perform it. Like even that falls short because he doesn't save him, he dies.
Well, no, but then that's playing with your expectations.
Agreed, but so I'm saying like they play with some expectations and we'll go with them, but then they don't follow through with some of the other ones.
You're kind of kept in the, then you're kind of, you don't really know where the film's going.
That's what leads this from being.
I sound like I like the movie a hell of a lot more than I did. I can see what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
The movie doesn't work, but it's a step up, and it is a bit. I mean, with the whole like leg operation thing, gets a bit. That's quite nasty and gory, and
it has a much better trajectory than our last film had for sure. But I guess what I'm saying different from you is where I felt this movie could have been even better and been one of those movies where like, man, we like not like in Precious Cargo in the same, because Precious Cargo is its own thing. There was a lot of, it was an enjoyment. There was a lot of entertainment that was valuable for us for Precious Cargo. I thought this could have been more along the lines of The Marauders, where there was more stakes, there was more involved. There was really good acting throughout the whole film, except for the young daughter. And then the grandma's killed quick, so I don't know if she's a good actress or not. But everyone else in the film, and look, Lydia Hall was just basically tied up and they shoved into a farm. Yeah, but the people who did have things to do, the four gentlemen on screen that we basically center on, they all were giving performances. They all were really good in it, and I believed every single one of their characters. I just felt like after a while, it was just like one no-stakes setup, to another no stakes setup. Like we thought something was gonna come of it, but it ends up just being more of a like we're chasing you around. I'm shooting at you, trying to kill you, but when I finally catch you, I'm not gonna kill you because I'm gonna now bring you back into the house and tie you up. Then why was I shooting at you the entire time the first time? Like it's like I'm just doing this because I have to shoot at you because the script calls for it. But I really don't want to actually injure you. I actually need you back in here. And it just kind of like, it loses it. For me, it just starts to fall apart towards the end, which was disappointing because like you said, or like maybe I said, I don't even know who said it anymore. I'm so confused because I'm on my double shift. 40 minutes or so into the film, I'm kind of invested. I'm like, this could grow potential. And then it just kind of like, after that, I stopped thinking, oh, nothing's going to happen now. Like, they're going to get away. The bad guys are going to die. And everyone's going to be like, hey, we all survived. And we're still forgetting about Grandma.
I actually think it's a little bit more unpredictable in a sense because there's an element where you're sort of thinking the shot brother isn't going to die and he's going to end up having to kill the psycho brother to protect the family.
Yeah.
But that would have been predictable. So I think it does, it fails. But it is at least trying. And like you've said, you know, performances are pretty decent throughout from the main lead, from the main guys. But yeah, you know, it's predictable. Yeah, it does attempt to do things a little differently. And of course, Bruce Willis stays alive for longer than you're thinking, which is unpredictable. But then the son does kill the main thug, which is predictable. Do you know what I'm saying?
And says a line of dialogue to do so. This is for my mom. This is for my mom.
You fucking psycho cocksucker. Maybe I made that up. But,
that was they cut it. They was like, you know, let's cut this down.
But what I'm saying is, in some senses, it is very predictable. And then in others, it does do some things a little bit differently. But I don't think the overall story is good enough, really.
For the reasons for things to happen are really far-fetched to start with.
That whole
the convenience store thing makes is pointless. There's no reason for it to happen. And if it doesn't happen, we don't have a story. Yeah, it's
just stupid. And these guys have got 20 grand, right? And a bit of change from the convenience store. And maybe a couple of Twinkies.
I don't think they took anything from the convenience store. And the funny thing is when he grabs the money, you reminded me, he goes, go get some gas for this and get us some food or whatever. He grabs a bunch of money and like throws it. I'm like, cash doesn't mean anything, but yet he goes in and he sees a little bit of cash and it means everything. It's like,
that's kind of what, it's kind of like, well, no, but you've only got 20 grand. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to...
No, I know, but when he walks in, he takes the money, he goes, you get money everywhere. He goes, it's just money. Like he wasn't concerned about it, but then he walks in the thing, he goes, wait a minute. I am concerned.
No, but that's what I mean. He's saying like we don't need money. We're millionaires because we've got 20 fucking grand or something. But yeah, the whole setup, you know, is just implausible and stupid. Like they're like that. That's almost like they're the Gecko brothers from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah.
You
could tie in a couple things.
But you know, that's like we're these notorious criminal brothers. We've got to get over the border. We've got some money. But you've just killed people for no reason and you've only got 20 grand and you're just a couple of neighborhood bullies. So when you infiltrate this fucking this poor family's house, the granddad happens to be an ex-sheriff and the son happens to be a fucking doctor.
Well, we should tell him that they went to a clinic.
Well, no,
and he's trying to get help. And then so they find out he's a doctor, so they follow him home. So we probably left that part out because otherwise it does sound like, wait a minute, they show up on a farm and they just happen to be a doctor?
You don't know he's that. You don't know that's what he is. You just followed him home. He could have just been fucking anyone.
Well, maybe he hears him talking or some. Look it.
Bullshit,
hey, listen. I mean, I'm just telling you what happens with it. I feel that the two movies suffered from the same problem. Is we have these things that happen in the beginning of the film, and then we run out of things to do because we bring all the stakes together early. And now for the rest of the film of Trauma Center, it's hide and seek. And in this one, it's kind of a hide and seek grab-assery. It's like, I find you, I can't kill you.
Yeah, but there's some violence. But
there is. But at the end of the day, we get tied back up and then we break free again.
There's blood and guts, there's gunplay, there's violence, there's a bit of suspense. This is a better movie. No, no.
Better movie for sure.
There is later on.
Better movie for sure. Later on. Like after a while, like they keep breaking free. After a while, you're kind of like, look, at this point, fuck it. Your brother's dying, kill all these motherfuckers. Like after a while, you're kind of like, all right. I mean, because it's supposed to be survive the night. Like the guy says, it goes into the morning. And there's a whole section where like it looks like everyone takes a nap and goes to sleep.
Though, so you know we can't really.
But it comes quickly. But it came pretty quick. Like we had this one moment where everyone's hiding, and we had that little moment with dad and son, you know, little bonding moment, and he talks with his brother, and then we all take a nap. We all go to sleep, and we wake up in the morning, and we start again, and we go back into it. And so that's where, like, it just loses its steam. Like, it had some real potential.
Oh, no, agreed, absolutely. But there is a great moment.
And then it just loses steam, and after a while, you're just kind of like, all right, are we going to end this film? Like, someone kill whoever they need to kill. Because at this point, I've lost interest in the brother's dying. Are we going to kill the family or are you just going to kill him? And then Bruce Willis jumps into his Charger and he drives as fast as he can, never looking forward, only looking backwards as he daringly drives to a forest of trees, yelling at a guy. And then I'm not sure why that happened because...
But again, in our remake, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the trilogy remake, yes.
Bruce Willis calls a bunch of his old cop buddies
Yes.
because there's actually 30 thugs.
Yes.
And it ends like the fucking Wild Bunch. All right? That would be a good movie. We haven't
I'm
got
with you.
that because the movie was made on a fucking shoestring, like everything else.
Or we'll do a surprise as Bruce is hauling ass through. Can't be played by Bruce because whoever's playing Bruce's character, hauling ass, looking back, talking shit, maybe shooting out the window, comes around the corner, runs into farm equipment, and it kills him, and we don't see that coming.
Well, I was kind of hoping for a Commando moment where they start using all the tools from the tool shed to fucking...
Just throwing saw blades, cutting
But the
people
problem is you haven't got a gang. You've only got one guy.
I know. And the other one you can't do anything with because he's dying on the
fucking
table.
Dead end. Yeah, he's pretty much dead anyway. So it's like the problem. Yeah. So the problem is, if that would have been a criminal gang, if that would have been...
And then even our gang can't kill the guys because we've only got 2 men we're working with, and the other 2 ladies are just there to be ladies. And I don't mean that meanly. They're just nothing.
No, because then if you've got more guys, you've got more avenues.
Oh, no, I agree.
For things
I'm
to
saying,
happen.
but even the villain can't kill any more people because he killed the one disposable person, which is Grandma. Fuck Grandma. Can't kill the wife because she's probably a producer, your ex. We can't kill, I mean, we should have killed the daughter, but, people have a tough time with that. Can't kill either Bruce or Chad Michael because we still need it for the story. So we've got ourselves into a box at this point. We put ourselves in a corner we can't do anything about because we can't move the story.
Yeah, that's the
further.
problem with this movie.
And that's why we start doing the chasing around grabassery.
Yeah, you can't kill anyone. That's the problem.
And that's how they did in the last movie. They
There
found
is
the
a
little
great
card.
moment in this movie where Bruce Willis gets away, right, at night when the thug is shooting at him and he runs away into the forest. And that's when he screams. But I think he screams because his wife's dead.
He's just a little flashback to her dying.
Yeah. But the great thing is there's a full moon. And it's like he's howling at the moon like he's about to turn into a werewolf.
That would have been awesome.
I swear to God, right? He howls, right? So it's like he's howling at the moon. That's not my imagination. You can all of you go back and watch this bit. In Kill Bill, I'm sorry to get Tarantino-esque, but in Kill Bill, the animated segment.
Yes.
With Orenishi, where she says whimper.
Yes.
She whimpers, but she actually says whimper. Yeah. I'm sure Bruce Willis says howl. I'm sure of her. He howls at the full moon. That's like he's yelling howl. I'm fucking sure of it. I'll put money on it at this point. I'm sure.
We know coming up in a few minutes his favorite one-liner. It's the howl.
Well, probably will be actually. But yeah, so yeah, that just cracked me up because I'm not sure. He not only did he howl, he fucking yelled howl.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Okay. It's the femoral artery. I get it. I get it. Fuck. Come on. Grab it. Hold on. Concentrate.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay. Fuck.
All right.
It's gonna be all right. It's all right. Hang on.
All right, we got it. Oh, that bleeding stopped.
We're good?
I still gotta sew him up. Clamps just holding him together for now. He'll die like this.
All right, so let's final thoughts this up.
Favorite scene.
Favorite scene from this movie, Mr. Smith. What was your favorite scene from Survive the Night and Morning?
Not a lot to choose from. I'm going to say the actual operation.
Oh, okay.
I thought, because he really fucking gets in there, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Digs the bullet out, and that's proper nasty. And I wasn't expecting it, because as we've said, in a lot of these Bruce Willis movies we've been watching, there's no grit. There's no, like... And another thing about this film, when people get shot, there's blood. It's quite cruel, some of it. But yeah, for me, I actually thought that was quite a tense scene when he's actually doing the operation. He's pulling veins around and digging into this fucking guy's leg, which is like a massive open wound throughout the whole movie. I think the thug, the psycho brother, even like winces a bit, like it's starting to sting at one point. Like, I thought it was pretty gnarly, and I thought that was like pretty sort of some much needed kind of gooey grossness. So for me, the best scene is the actual dinner table operation.
Good choice. Good choice. For me, it is Jamie killing the girl in the convenience store. It was the one thing I did not see coming and was actually surprised because once he hit one and then it didn't happen right away, I thought, oh, here we go. Another countdown that's pointless. And then he just shoots her.
That wouldn't have happened in any of the other movies.
No. I was like, okay, beautiful.
So yeah, it does come. It comes as a bit of a shock. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We're in for a good one. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out in a little bit. But at least we had that good moment kickstart this bad boy. Even though it's a completely implausible robbery. But you know what? We got that out of it. So, hey, it works for us.
Best one-liner.
Your best one-liner.
It's the howl.
The howl, yes. Howl!
Furious howl! And there's a full moon in the... I was just like, wow, this is insane. But yeah, I don't know where you're going to go, but for me, it's the howl. The howl. I'm telling you guys, go check it out. That's the best part of the movie.
It comes from a moment where we once again get to see Mr. Escondri like to beat up on women. Our boy, Jamie, walks in, goes in to get the wife because we need someone to help hold down his brother when they cut into him. And he goes to get the wife first, played by your ex, Lydia Hall. And Lydia Hall slaps him. I mean, her hands are free apparently because they were trying to free each other. And at least in this one, he just pushes her. He gives her a push. I'm like, all right, well, just Tito Ortiz wasn't there to punch her, so I guess he could only let him push him. It's only in Tito's contract to be allowed to hit women on camera. But then he goes over to Bruce's character and he says, you're a tough son of a bitch, huh? Used to be the big dog in town, yeah? Bet you got a hard on for me after I killed your wife. Sure you'd like to dance with me if I gave you the chance. Bruce responds, just give me 5 minutes alone, take your fucking head off. That little exchange was the only cool thing because we rarely get to see someone talk tough to Bruce in any of his films. It's rare. And usually Bruce gets a chance to talk tough back.
And you're absolutely right. That is pretty...
And I believe Shea Buckner's character, Jamie, and I believed him to be tougher than Bruce. Even though Bruce said what he said, in that moment, I actually still believe that Jamie would have whooped his ass head to head. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of that
Yeah.
And Bruce mentions it later. He goes, I'm not going to fight him because he realizes he can't beat him. Which some of the charm of the film is that they are working in some areas of knowing what the fuck they're doing and talking about. But that's true overall.
You're absolutely right. That was a pretty threatening sort of vibe going on there.
Best performance.
Your best performance, sir. Who gives your best performance from this film?
Okay, so Mr. Shea Buckner.
Both have the same guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. Just like with the last one. If these two films gave us anything, they've given us two probably Brucey-nominated performances from two characters that we did not see coming. And to Mr. Buckner's, not his fault, but in the beginning thing that happened, you're kind of like, okay, so he's just going to be one of these bullshit tough guys, you know what I mean? But he really
he doesn't chew the scenery, does he?
He's very believable in everything he says and does. Like, you really truly believe he cares for his brother. And if he wasn't so good, I may have given it to TJO because he was really good as well. I really enjoyed him in this performance, but Shea was just so much more because he had more to do. It's hard to be the best guy when you're laying on the table. You know what I mean? It's hard to, hey, what are you doing? I'm just laying on a table. If I said that's the best acting performance, you can tell where this movie's headed. The guy on the table doesn't move.
Yeah.
Favorite character.
All right, well then who would be your favorite character?
This is difficult. The same guy.
Yeah, me too. Jamie. Because it is his movie. Shea Buckner's actually the star of this film. At the end of the day, he's the guy with
Again,
just like with what's her face. Yeah, with Whelan. We didn't expect her. Yeah. Same thing. Someone completely brand new we've never heard of before comes out of left field and actually forget what does or doesn't happen in each film. They actually carry you through the film. Like you actually are invested in the lead actor. You believe them. You believe that they are actually. You almost feel like they're like in a Bruce Willis situation. Like, why are you in this film? Like, you know what I mean? They're almost kind of like, do you have a disease? Do you owe people money? Because like you actually are pretty damn good. And as we said, I feel like they don't get any extra looks because they're in these B movies, but they actually really are pretty fucking good in them.
Yep. No, definitely. Yeah. So he's my choice.
Look at that. 2 for 2, 2 months in a row. Holy cow.
There you go.
But now are we going to go 2 for 2 on this one as well when we get to our moment of truth?
The moment of truth.
Mr. Smith, do you feel Mr. Willis dropped a deuce or a Bruce as Mr. Frank Clark, the former sheriff.
Bruce drops a Bruce. I thought he was very good in this, actually.
I agree. I thought he was good.
And again, see, to go back to last month's episode, what I was saying about, I think he was just acting with himself in that movie, and it just seemed really stilted and weird and out of place. When he's got people to bounce off, I think he's just a lot better.
Yeah.
And he was Bruce Willis in this.
Yes, he was. He was.
An older Bruce, but he was really present. He just felt like he was really sort of involved and really going for it. So, yeah, Bruce definitely dropped a Bruce.
He most definitely dropped a Bruce.
Yeah, this may be up for his Brucey Award for his best roles. He's at least, I mean, Airstrike is going to be one of them too, probably, because he's so fun in that. But outside of him having to be in some kind of ridiculous foreign film where he gets to, chew the scenery like he gets to be Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, and especially like if you watch him the way we watch it compared to what he was last month, I mean, it's night and day. He's a shell of himself.
Totally.
I can see people saying they see that movie and be like, I'm never watching another one of his again because he's terrible. This is awful. He's bad.
Yeah.
But then he's in this. And again, everyone should understand, if you listen to this podcast, we're talking about his B movies. We're not talking about Bruce Willis in other
I'm not saying
major
he's
films.
he's better in this than he is in Unbreakable. I'm not saying.
Yeah, no.
I'm just
but
saying.
he's at least for a B movie putting in a performance, and he actually is very serviceable and a very memorable and believable character in this film.
Yeah, totally.
He most definitely dropped a Bruce.
Yeah, he's really going for it in this, And like I said earlier, he's actually in this movie. He's like a co-lead. He's not just the dad who's just in it at the beginning and shows up again at the end to give him a hug. He's involved.
And you're a little worried because when you first meet him, he's sitting in a rocking chair. I thought, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, is he just going to be is this another one of those I just sit in a chair movies where he's just in a chair the entire movie?
Which he's done, yeah.
All right, brings us to our moment of truth together. So far, we've gone 2 for 2. We'll see how we go. Do you feel this movie dropped a Bruce or a Deuce, in your opinion?
This one's a Deuce. You know what? It tried. It tried. I'll give it props for that. Ultimately, it's disappointing. And you were right, with the things you were saying. That's why I was a bit like, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not bigging this movie up because I disagree with the final result. I felt it tried. There's elements that are unpredictable. There are too many elements that are predictable.
Yep.
And I think that with a bigger cast, like I say, if they would have been a gang of thugs.
Yeah.
There's part of me that would be like, if there was a gang of thugs and then the father and the son team up and kick ass, that would have been predictable, but it would have been more exciting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like we say 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where, you are unpredictable, but there's nothing wrong with predictable sometimes. So, unfortunately, this is like only just a Deuce.
I would agree. It had real potential
Rather
to be
than like,
Bruce.
man, this movie sucks. This movie doesn't suck, but it's not good enough either.
This film most definitely dropped a Deuce.
I give it a Deuce for the same reasons. And the reason it gets a Deuce is because it started out, again, we've talked about how the premise of how all this stuff is kicked off is absolutely ludicrous. It makes no sense at all. But since we're already on that train and we're going to take this ride, it starts the ride very out of left field for us for these kind of movies where we don't see some of this stuff coming. And there were some real stakes started in the film. But then, like you said, it suffers from a lack of cast, like not acting, but having more people to, I guess, be people you can kill off and make these stakes work. Yeah. And once that happens, like in our last film, it just becomes now, well, we're going to put them in situations where we want you to think maybe there's danger, but at the end of the day, we can't because the script calls for it to can't happen. These things can't happen. And once you realize that, that's why I put in my notes, it's just one low stakes scene after another after a while where you start to get to the point where, like, even from Trauma Center, you're like, at this point, somebody kill this bitch or she kills them. Like, we get it. We're running around chasing each other. Enough of this patty cake shit. You gave us all these stakes earlier. Where's the end? And because of that, that's why I gave it a Deuce, because it failed at that point. Like, it just stopped being what it could have been. And we had to do a deal. We went back to old cliches. We're not going to do the cliches. We're going to surprise them. And they're like, whoa, pause. We're going to give the cliches again. Like, don't worry, folks. We're going to get back on the cliche train. Yeah.
True.
this film most definitely dropped a deuce.
All right, well, that's 2 out of 3 Summer of Escondry films we have not watched as we record this Hard Kill. So we do not know if the Bullet Wound in the Leg trilogy is going to be a trilogy, and if we can find more through lines to tie the 3 films together. As we've already figured out, Chad Michael Murray is one of the doctors of Puerto Rico who got sued and left, leaving Steve Goot to fend for himself. Moved into Columbus, Georgia, ran into more things. Things went amok. Now we're going to find out what happens from here. Where does the thread line go? Because figure this out as we close out the Summer of Escondry.
Stay tuned.
How many women will get hurt or violated in this next film?
Well,
who's going to get hit? Who's going to die? We'll have to find out. Will Tito Ortiz just pop up and punch someone in the background who doesn't know he's in the film? We're going to find out in August when we shut summer down, the Summer of Escondry. Holy cow. We did not know in season 2 we were going to have such an amazing summertime. Films for you. It's a threefer.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Keeps on fucking giving. Good luck to all of you out there on your double shifts. Be safe.
Oh.
And that will do it for our 17th episode. Please feel free to reach out to us on the show's socials, which can be found in the show's notes, and tell us what you thought about this film, how you feel about Bruce as an actor, or even to let us know what you think about the show. We'd also greatly appreciate it if you give the show a like, leave us a review, and follow the show on the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network. We can find other amazing podcasts dedicated to such iconic action stars as Stallone, Lundgren, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, and Seagal. The link to the network can also be found in the show's notes. So won't you please join us again next month as Steve and I pull our Willis Winnebago over to review Bruce's role in 2020's action thriller Hard Kill, to see if he dropped a deuce or if he dropped a Bruce. Until then.
Yippee Ki-Yay, motherfucker.
This has been a Man with an Exceptional Beard production.